Welcome back to CryptosRUs. I am George. We're all George. So today, beautiful Sunday. No, it's not a bloody Sunday. Things are looking pretty darn good. And I found a brand new bottom indicator that is actually made of fear. So this is one of those instances where FUD or fear is actually a good thing. And let me show you what I'm talking about, and of course, discuss what's going on with Bitcoin and crypto. All right, thanks for tuning in, guys. As always, smash the like, subscribe to the channel. 2 streams every day, 11:30 and 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. So make sure you hit that notification bell and follow me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. All right, let's do this. Lively crowd today. A lot of people want to know what's going on. What's going on? Why didn't a bloody Sunday come? Well, let me change my screen here. All right, so let's of course starting with Bitcoin. Bitcoin is just doing its thing. It's just doing its thing. Every single person on YouTube, on Earth, is trying to tell you where Bitcoin is going to go, trying to predict if it's going to go up or bottom or it's going to go down, it's going to go sideways. You know, everyone is just making guesses, right? But I've been saying concentrate on investing long term. Concentrate on buying the dips, DCA, and holding. That's really it. Bitcoin will do what it wants to do when it wants to do it. Yes, that's how it's always been. Many periods where it just goes sideways. Many periods where it's very, very, very boring. And we may be going through one of those times right now. So instead of fearing yourself out, right, relax and focus on the fact that we have so much more to gain from crypto and so much more growth left. Just like last night. Last night when I talked about countries now that's embracing Bitcoin, that's going to make it legal tender, and I've showed all the countries where Bitcoin usage is skyrocketing, right? There's just so much going on. You got to pay attention to the bigger picture. So right now, Bitcoin is still stuck in this pennant right now. It's at 36.2, but in the meantime, altcoins are still holding strong. Bitcoin dominance actually went down slightly, and that's because there's some altcoins that's still coming up, slightly. And the one I talked about yesterday about Solana, and they're still killing it. They're above 40 now. They're around 43. But besides Solana, Uniswap is up a good 2%. Ethereum is up a good 3.6%, almost 4%. So retail investors are slowly getting back in, and that's a positive thing. But let me show you this bottom indicator. I think it's different because this is not based on any technical analysis. This is based on fear. And it's a really interesting way of indexing or plotting fear, and also on opposite greed. So some of you guys may have heard of this before, crypto fear and greed index. And what's interesting about this is just last month we were in greedy mode, and now we're in extreme fear mode. It kind of shows you how fast sentiment changes, right? And this is what I've always been telling you guys about, how one day things could look really, really, really good, and then the next day things could look really, really bad. However, the fundamentals didn't change at all, right? And that's the same with Bitcoin and crypto right now. It's like, yeah, you'll have media that's very, very bullish and then turn very, very negative, and it's within a very short amount of time, but things really didn't change. So the fear and greed index right now, we're at 17, which is extreme fear. And yesterday we're a little bit higher, actually. So I don't know why there's more fear today than yesterday. Yesterday was 24. But look at last week. We fell down to 10. And I believe 10 is the record in terms of fear. I don't believe, ever since this index started tracking things, I don't believe we've ever been this low. And that could be a very good thing in terms of indicating a bottom. So let me show you, before I get to this, let me show you what this is actually measuring. First of all, 25% of the weight is for volatility, which shows you the up and downs. Also, market momentum and volume. That's another 25%. Interesting enough, social media, they're tracking that. Surveys, which they paused. I get that. The dominance of Bitcoin versus altcoin and trends. Okay, like just search trends and so forth. So it's a good breakup. It's a good breakup. Anyways, so if you look at the last 7 days, you can see that we've been hovering basically in extreme greed. We were in the 18, 20, 24, 27, 24, and then somehow from yesterday to today, it just went down. I don't know why. I guess people are still anticipating a bloody Sunday or something like that. Let's go back a month, and you can see this is the big difference. A month we were in extreme greed mode, and then all of a sudden, guess who caused this? And then who brought us down here? Yes, you guys know of him, Elon, and you know, it's just that just kind of kickstarted a whole bunch of stuff, right? But you go back 3 months, obviously we were sitting pretty. We had a slight dip over here, but overall we were pretty high. But here's the interesting thing. You go back 1 year, and then how about we go back max? So this started tracking in 2018. Didn't go back all the way to 2017. But if you look at the max, and too bad I can't zoom in on this a little more. But if you look at the periods where Bitcoin was like really stuck at a low point, and I'm talking about like the extreme fear points, you'll see that they have been a really good bottom indicator. Okay, so the one I want to concentrate right here, over here, you could see around the November and December timeframe in 2018, you can see a big clump right here. Okay, so around that point, what happened? You know, what happened November, December of 2019? Well, this happened. This happened when Bitcoin was coming down. Right, it was hovering around 6,000. So all of a sudden, it crashed down to 3,000s, and it stood there for quite some time. After it crashed down to about a low of 3,100, it didn't really break into the 4,000s for basically 3 months. 3 months it stood there. Okay, and at this point, trust me, I was through it. Every TA guy out there was saying, we're going to fall down to 1,000. Every single TA guy at that time was saying, we're going to go down to 1,500. We're going to go down to 3,000. Like every single one. Go back and just go look at all of them. They all said that. But guess what? Bitcoin did not. It stood there, right? And look at it. At that time, the fear and greed index was hovering between 10 and the high is 20. And you can see that group right there. It clear as day, right? And then throughout, going forward, you could see some big up and downs. But look at the next clumping. The next clumping here. This was March to April. You see just big clump right here, right? And what happened? What happened then? Of course, same thing. You zoom in. That's when last year happened with the pandemic fears and so forth. You have Bitcoin fall down and then it started recovering. Over here, same thing. You had every single person claiming that Bitcoin was going to go lower. It's going to test 1,000 this time. For sure it's going to test 1,000. Well, it didn't. But you could see big clump. Fear was pretty high, right? Again, that was a pretty good bottom indicator. Had you bought at that point, you would have made out like a bandit. And same thing over here. Same thing over here, right? It was just a few years earlier. So look at where we are now, right? We have sort of that clumping right now. It's been fluctuating. It's a little bit more, but we had a couple of tens, low teens. It went up to the 20s, but we're forming that clump like what we've seen before, right? So it's still a little bit early because it's only been a few weeks or so. These clumps took months before we got out of it, before Bitcoin came up and really just never looked back, right? But this could be a bottom indicator. In fact, I'm going to say it is a bottom indicator, right? Because you just look at history. When greed is, or I should say when fear is high, and it's basically just nothing but fear, right? With the contrarians will do is do opposite of what everyone else is doing. And this is the same thing with all the famous investors. They always say, buy when there's fear. Why buy when there's blood in the street, right? Even if it's your own blood. And this is a pretty good indicator, right? Right now, there's a lot of fear. A lot of fear. Everyone is fearing that Bitcoin's gonna go lower, and at the end of Bitcoin, it's never gonna come up. But just like all the previous times when Bitcoin fell, it was kind of the same way, right? And these were not during the bull run. These were during crypto winter when things looked even bleaker. But Bitcoin recovered and continued higher. And you know what? We're going to get past this too. So that's why I show you guys the crypto fear and greed index. This is not really technical analysis, but it kind of is. But I like things like this that kind of is out there, right? It doesn't. It has some scientificness to it, but it's not based on, I guess, well, I don't know. I guess it is. I don't know what I'm saying. But anyways, I like it. Let's just go with that. Outside of that, I mentioned about altcoins, right? There's still a lot of bargains to be had. There's a lot that is still very undervalued, especially versus their previous high from just a few weeks ago. And man, Solana's still killing it, above 43 now. You got VeChain that's killing it. That's starting to come up, right? Up 21% for the week and up about 4% for today. So that's pretty good. You got Filecoin that's making some good moves this week. Kusama, definitely almost 40% for this week from the bottom. That's terrific. And what else? T-Fuel. Remember, I just created a video a few days ago about watching out for, 3 projects to watch out for in June, and Theta is one of them. Could be a reason why T-Fuel is climbing higher. And then you have Zilliqa that's doing pretty good. Waves is doing pretty good for the week. And what else? The graph is coming up. I like the graph. OKB, that's exchange token. Curve is doing quite nice, 44%. So yeah, overall, it's a pretty calm and smooth, and it's pretty good for some altcoins at least. All right, let's just do a quick Q&A. All right, what did I miss on top? Anonymous versus Elon. I covered that. Yes, I did cover that. We'll see what happens with it. What do you think about Nervos? I'm neutral on them. The only reason why they pumped up is because they formed a cross bridge with Cardano. I don't know if that's really going to do much for either side, but it's exciting, I guess, announcement. Alpha Wolf Finance. Just looking at this, I don't like it at all because of this. I don't really like projects that now come out with like 1 trillion or 100 trillion in supply. That just turns me off. So, unfortunately, I'm not going to look at that. Keeps writing good word. Good morning. Not to be distracted. NFL season is right around the corner. Can you give a shout out to? Well, I don't like the Raiders though. So I don't like the Raiders. Well, why would I give them a shout out? But I appreciate that. Let's say I bought 100 ADA and staked it all for 15 days. Let's say ADA rose by 50% in these 50 days. Will I get a profit from this increase? Your ADA value is still there. Just because you staked it doesn't mean that the growth is just negated. No, you still, the value of your ADA still went up. So you didn't lose that by staking. So hopefully that answers that. Do I own any Stormax, future Stormax? I do not own them. I do not own any of them. StormX is interesting. I think they're in that rewards play, right? And they could do very well. They just need more traction. Right now, I think the usage is still kind of low, but if they could definitely gain traction, that'll be very positive for them. It seems like every single day someone asks me about Anchor. I'm neutral on Anchor. I think they're okay project, nothing revolutionary. Rune, what's so special about this project? It's just it has a lot of traction. It's its own chain, but it also has basically it's like a decentralized pool of liquidity for DeFi projects to use. That's really what it is. So there are certain exchanges that use them. I think certain DeFi projects use them, but they got a lot of backers. That's really it. 100 Theta or 10K vet. I mean, just go with both. Just split it down. I like both projects quite a bit. What's your view on a BTC conference? I find it cringeworthy, not a good image for the crypto space. Why do you feel that way? I don't think it's cringeworthy. I think it's prohibited. It prohibits like normal people from getting in because of the high cost. But I think overall it's not bad. They didn't do anything really cringeworthy in my opinion. It's kind of weird though. Like it's only a Bitcoin conference and not like a crypto conference. So that's kind of weird because there's so much innovation going on with crypto as a whole, especially with DeFi and NFTs. So it's kind of weird that a lot of it wasn't spoken about because it was like a Bitcoin conference. It should have been just a broader crypto conference. Energy Web token, some connections with Elon and Tesla, but it's an energy trading play or energy tracking play. I'm kind of neutral on it. I'm thinking about between GT4 and a Carrera S. What do you think I enjoy more? I haven't reviewed much Porsches, but I've been looking at like a 911 Turbo or 4S, and they're all like sold out. You can't find any of them. So, El Salvador, please comment. I just created a whole video about it yesterday, so check it out. Florencia, yes. For the 50, 25, 25 rule, what mid-cap ranges should be looking at? 50% Bitcoin, 25% big caps, which is anything above 10 billion. And the remaining 25% will be anything under 10 billion. So that's how I define it. Do you think big tech companies like Apple are going to start releasing their own coins? No, I don't think they're going to release their own coins. But big tech companies like Apple will be releasing their digital wallet, which will support crypto, right? I don't think any of them will be releasing their own coin. I think there's too much uncertainty, like regulatory concerns and how they would operate, having shares and crypto. I think this could be I think if it happens, it's going to be years out. But I think number one is getting Apple Pay to accept and store crypto and to be able to use it. There's a lot of stuff like that will happen much sooner. Is it good for Binance staking or flexible savings? Feelings on Aave and Near. I entered in May. I'm full loss. I don't know. If you want to stake, to earn interest, there's nothing wrong with that. You could do it on Binance. You could do it on a lot of places like Blockfi, which is my sponsor. You could simply deposit, earn up to basically 9% in interest, which is pretty high. Now, as for Aave and Near, I like both of them, but obviously with everything down, they're down from their previous highs. So the best thing I can say is just hold strong. I like both of those projects. Which do you prefer for DeFi project, Lattice Exchange, or Unizen? Neither. I don't know of them, and honestly, I think there's better buys. AMP token, thanks for your honest content. I like AMP. I think as Flexa gets bigger, as the economy open up and people start utilizing that the Flexa app to pay for things, it's only going to help AMP. So I like AMP. Brendan, thank you. Um, how about George coin price prediction? I don't have it. Did you get this idea from Jason Pizzino? No, I know all he talks about it is that. I mean, the crypto greed index was out for years. I used to cover a lot, but I always thought there was really no point to show it all the time. You could detect fear. But you know what? I thought it was a good idea to look at it. If you could track fear, especially groups and clumps of fear together, it's a pretty good bottom indicator. Luna, super undervalued. I agree with that. Hashgraph, I'm kind of neutral on. I think they have a lot of interesting developments. It's just the structure is a little bit different from other projects, so I'm kind of neutral on them. But they're doing good things. I think people are understanding how big Google News is for crypto. Billions of eyeballs see it every day. I mean, Google, you can't. I think everyone uses Google, right? So, yeah, any articles, any sentiment is going to be big coming from Google. I'm holding a staking Atom Kava long term, dollar cost averaging, weekly thoughts. Cosmos is one that I talked about. I think June could be enormous for Cosmos because they're going to release their gravity DEX. So that could be a huge thing coming at end of June. What do you think about Helium? I like Helium. I think they're very interesting. Basically creating a low power mesh network. I like it. Phantom, I also like. I think they're EVM compatible chain. They have some good DeFi dApps on there. So if they could keep building, they could do very well. Glenn, there's no need for that unless you work for White Claw and you could send me cases of it. But I appreciate the gesture. How do you feel about Harmony One? Do you think it'll reach $1 this bull run? Yeah, why not? I like Harmony quite a bit. EVM compatible chains, even though they start out by drawing projects from Ethereum, which is still happening, but once they build out their own ecosystem, they could thrive. It doesn't mean that one chain has to rule them all, right? There's many different use cases and locations and projects, and they could all do very well. Doesn't mean that one has to dominate over the others. And I do like Harmony. Holding ETH long term. Should I stake it? I mean, if you are, why not, right? I would say, like, if you're going to stake in the Beacon chain, maybe use Anchor because they'll give you liquid staking. They'll give you equivalency, like I think LETH, and you could use that in DeFi projects. So look at that. Proper chaos. Are you tired of crypto influencer put out kind of misleads people? Yeah, I get why they have to do it for clicks sometimes, but I try not to do that. So hopefully you guys see that. Holding oh yeah, I answered that. All right. Theta, any new exchange? No. But Theta's mainnet is coming end of this month too, so that's another one you don't want to miss out on. Hydra can stake for 110. Yes. I've looked at Hydra before, so it's just like a deflationary play. Open source. Oh no, maybe it's not. I was thinking something else. Open source proof of stake. Blockchain with a unique set of economic features. It packs a unique combination of inflationary as well as deflationary economics. Okay, maybe I was right. It was just basically being deflationary. You can set up a node. Shared economics. Fix. Yeah. No, I was right. It's some kind of blockchain, but it has all this like deflationary things built into it, and I never got into it. ADA price 2025. That's way too far out. This is way too far out. No one knows. No one knows that far out. I do hold XRP, Cardano, Vice. Okay, that's a pretty good breakup. I think you should add in a few more in there. What utility does George Coin have? It's supposed to be an interaction coin with me, but right now I haven't really done much with it. So I plan on doing more with it in the future, but right now I just haven't really come up with good use cases. I was going to make it so that you could use it to buy the Vegas conference tickets, but it's too hard to integrate at this point. I was hoping to do something with Rally with it, but their ticketing system is just not ready yet. Paul, will you summarize the BTC bottom indicator again? What are your thoughts on Ethereum's latest Ether Lite? It's probably garbage. If you get it, sell it immediately. Just like Litecoin Lite, sell it immediately. Otherwise, go dump to zero. The bottom indicator is basically the fear index over time. And you can see clumps from before where fear was very high. And it was, it was lasting for a few weeks, few months. That's when the bottom is in. This was when Bitcoin fell to 3,100. This was when Bitcoin fell to 3,800. And right now, we're kind of seeing that right now. Right? Not as much, not as long of a period as before. But if we keep going and hovering around 30,000s, this is also an indicator that this could be a bottom. Victor, all right. I'm neutral on Silo. That's not very interesting right now. Honestly, guys, like a lot of these smaller, like small cap, micro caps, they may look very interesting. I think Silo is actually one that actually looks decent. But the thing is, right now, especially right now, there's a lot of fear. So people, what do? When there's a lot of fear, they gravitate towards what they know, right? So the smaller caps are not moving nearly as much or recovering nearly as much as the mid or big caps that people know and really trust, right? So right now, that's what I'm concentrating on. Almost all the things I've bought are the bigger caps, the ones like Data and VeChain and Solana and Cardano. And they have all come up pretty good, right? So right now, that's what I'm concentrating on. And until we really get out of this rut and Bitcoin comes really back full swing above 40, 50, 60,000, I think a lot of those small caps could be showing weakness until then. But after we get through it, everything will come roaring back. All right, guys, that's it. Thanks for tuning in. As always, smash a like, subscribe to the channel. 2 streams every day, so 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. Make sure you tune in. All right? Until then, take care.